Let's get to the rest of week 2, including Liam Coen and his Jaguars getting ready for their second time out there, Cynthia, with the Travis Hunter experiment. Liam on the podium today did concede that, maybe we play him a little bit more on defense this week. Maybe the Jaguars are in Cincinnati to face the Bengals. Snap count for week 1, 42 on offense, 6 on defense. 42 of the 66 offensive snaps they took, and really not much action at all defensively. Cynthia, when he was lined up as a wide receiver on offense, he was primarily lined up in the slot. What did you see?
Well, tracking what he did in week 1 was a little bit like what we see from rookies, meaning it wasn't the most precise route running. That's not something that he was really known for yet. And he looked a little bit like he was adjusting to the speed of the defense that he was facing. Now, it wasn't the hardest defense in the Carolina Panthers, but he didn't go out there and look like he was already, in veteran form, right? It looked like a rookie performance. On defense, the 6 snaps, kind of, okay, like whatever. It's hard because then I asked some of our mutual friends who played both of these positions, and it's just the meetings happen at literally the same time. So when you're looking at the opportunity to play on offense or on defense, you kind of can't go through all of the installs for everything with your teammates because those meetings are happening at the same time. So you can't be in 2 places at once. Maybe he can, but I'm unaware of how anyone can be in 2 places at once. So it's interesting to see how they adjust going forward. Hopefully it looks a little bit crisper in this next go around. The Bengals secondary is a better maybe situation in game 2. I don't know that the Carolina secondary wasn't maybe the best one either, but I'm curious to see how they evolve his game going forward because it was kind of looked like a scribble a little bit in week 1.
And I do wonder about just the situation. First of all, it's week 1. I mean, are you really going to throw Travis Hunter out there for 90 snaps? Probably not. That's tough for a rookie in his first game. Maybe ease him in slowly. He also missed the 3rd preseason game with an injury. Yes, they probably held him out because it was preseason, but still, he missed a little bit of time. So still easing his way back in. And third, it's the Carolina Panthers. They were up early in that game. It looked pretty obvious early on that they were the better team. At what point does Liam Coen say, what am I going to do? I'm going to throw Travis Hunter out there for 35 defensive snaps in a blowout? I wonder about this week because the Bengals are the Bengals. And you're on the road. You're an underdog. You're facing Joe Burrow and 2 of the best receivers in the game. Will we see Travis Hunter play more cornerback then? I think if you don't see him at much of cornerback this week, it's just not going to happen this year. I've said often, and I'm wish casting it, and I get that I think Travis Hunter should play both ways, not 100% of the time because he can't do that, but as much as he can handle on both sides. Of course, I'm a little bit rooting for the story because I've never really seen that in my lifetime other than pretty much Dion in 1995. But I just wonder what the Jaguars are thinking at this point, because honestly, if all they're going to do is play him at receiver in the slot and line him up 5-6 plays at cornerback a game, why move up to the 2nd pick? Well, why trade as much as you did to go up to number 2 to get him if he's just a receiver? I don't think he was worth that as a receiver. I love Travis Hunter. I think he's a great, great player, deserved a Heisman, all that kind of stuff. But if you are going to pay what they paid to go up to number 2 and get him, I think he's got to play both ways. Am I wrong about that? That just seems like such an overpay for a slot receiver if that's all he's going to be.
No, I agree with you.
I would argue
with that one. I was just going to say this to me, you guys both make great points. This story to me is kind of like week 1 overreaction in microcosm here. It's 1 game. Like the idea that he was going to play 115 snaps, which is what he averaged over the last 2 seasons at Colorado, is absurd. You can't play 115 snaps in the NFL. It don't work that way. Like we had Deion Dawkins on yesterday saying that his body still hasn't recovered and he doesn't know when it will after 89 snaps for the Bills on Sunday night in that classic. And Josh Allen, by the way, brought the same thing up on the podium today in Buffalo. Like 89 snaps. It's a 1:00 game Sunday. Like that game finished at midnight on Sunday night. Like we've got to get our bodies ready this week. So I think they need to ease Travis Hunter in. I do think we all agree, he's a dynamic wide receiver. It's 1 game. It's 1 game. I would like to see him play corner a little bit more. I also think you should ask the question, like, is is putting him out there against Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, the indoctrination, and Joe Burrow, especially an angry Bengals team after the Browns punched them in the mouth in the second half. They had -7 yards in the second half, net yards, as a team. You know what? I would take him out of the defensive game plan this week just because of that.
I mean, I would say, listen, and it's not going to be like the sexiest take, but they moved up to get him, and that means that they mortgaged next year, right? So if it takes more than a couple of weeks, maybe even the whole year, to get him to play at least a level on defense that you might like, you're still getting a good return on your investment because you've already, you know what it is going into next year's draft. So I understand everyone wants everything now, but maybe a little bit of patience here and allow the man to learn how the NFL and the speed of the NFL and the game of the NFL really works. Because so you could argue, is Joe Burrow going to go out mad? Jamar Chase is one of those receivers that didn't get any action in week 1, right? He did not have the game that he's used to having. So you're going to go out against an angry Jamar Chase? Okay. That doesn't sound great, right? So, I would say, let's just, I want him to be great and I want him to play on both sides, but I think it'd probably be better to do one thing at a time and then the other thing, as opposed to try and do everything at once.
Cynthia, we have no time, no reason for patience around here. Come on, we cover the NFL. This is 18 one-week seasons. That's what we do around here. Patience? What? Come on.
Yeah, which is kind of what it feels like. And in Cleveland, they have no patience. Oh, by the way, for getting Quinshon Judkins back on the field. He didn't practice today. And when Kevin Stefanski revealed before practice this morning that Quinshon wasn't going to be in the building, wouldn't give many details, people thought, wait, what's going on? Here's the answer. He was in New York. This was planned. They knew it was going to happen. They knew this last week, that he had to go to New York to meet with the league as part of the personal conduct investigation after the incident in Florida over the summer. No charges were filed, or all the charges were dropped. Better said, whatever. The case has gone away and he's now back with the team. This idea, however, that he might be able to play this week is very much up in the air because he isn't at practice on Wednesday. He will be, from everything we understand, back at practice and on the field Thursday, so he could get 2 days in. Cynthia, what stands out to me about the Browns, well, a lot of things stood out in week number 1, but they thought they were going to be able to run the ball better. Conversely, Cincinnati has not been able to stop the run, but they went out and got TJ Slayton. You throw BJ Hill in the middle. Chris Jenkins, second-year guy out of Michigan, second-round pick. Those guys had a heck of a performance. Or the Browns' O-line started really slowly. I don't know that Quinshon Judkins is going to be like the magic answer to all of a sudden start running the football this week against the Ravens if he is somehow on the field.
That was kind of my asterisk there. I mean, I actually think Quinshon Judkins will be a difference maker over the long haul. However, do you really want to get a Ravens team, Roquan Smith specifically, that just went through what they went through in Buffalo and are probably looking to kind of get that feeling out of that taste out of their mouth? I think in general, I picked up Quinshon Judkins in fantasy because I do think by the end of the season he's going to help me out. But as of right now, this is a really tough test. But you could also argue maybe it's better what you don't know, right? He has no idea how hard this is. So go out there, kid. See what you can do.
That I've said, me and Andrew and Charles Robinson talked about this weeks ago, and I kind of maybe overstated things by saying I think it's just going to be a lost year for Quinshon Judkins, and I still stand by that in some ways. Where we're talking about he's missing Wednesday, I know you do, and I get it. I understand what you mean, but he has missed a lot of time, and he was there in the offseason, OTAs, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely,
but you miss preseason, you miss training camp, you're missing time during the season. We're talking about, any other rookie, we're talking about, really, we're going to just practice him on Thursday, throw him out on Sunday against the Ravens? I think that's crazy. At some point, maybe late in the year he gets it, but what's the trust level the coaches have in him? Because they haven't seen him very much in real life situations. I'm just worried that this whole season is just going to be a lot less for Quinshon Judkins than we thought. Like we thought he was going to come in, be the man, early second round pick. He's going to carry the load, 1,000-yard guy, maybe, who knows? But I just think that's kind of gone. I think Dylan Sampson looked really good in his first game, especially catching the ball and how many routes he ran. I just think the train has left the station a little bit. Maybe Quinshon could catch it at the next stop, but it's tough. It's just asking so much of him as a rookie. No training camp, no preseason, no week one, no Wednesday of week two. To just, hey, at some point, go out on the field and perform, get 20 carries like that. It's just a lot for a rookie, for anyone.
I think there's two positions you could do that. I think pass rushers can do it, and I think I think running backs can do it. Pass rushers are the two that have a little bit of a shortened learning curve just based on what the job actually is. But I agree with you. However, I don't discount the opportunity for them to use two running backs all season long. I think Kevin Stefanski will take all of the playmakers he can get,
I mean, Isaiah Bond started
was
the game. Like they need something. Harold Fan was basically their slot receiver. Yeah, they need playmakers a lot.
The first three plays of the offensive plays last week for the Browns. Snap number 1 went to Dylan Sampson. Snap number 2 went to Harold Fannin. Snap number 3, or play number 3, went to Isaiah Bond. So the first 3 were the rookies, and then the first touchdown came from Raheem Sanders, Rocket Sanders, the rookie running back out of South Carolina, who they claimed at the final cutdown off waivers from the Chargers. Had a really nice preseason here with the Chargers, over 100 yards and a touchdown. He got the first touchdown of the season. So it is a rookie season really across the board. Carson Schlesinger was the leading tackler. Mason Graham played well. All 6 of those guys contributed. I don't think anyone thinks that if Quinshon plays this week, he's going to be some kind of bell cow against the Ravens on the road in his first NFL game. That's not the case. And the Browns also had not committed in any way at all to him definitely playing this week. They had a 2-week roster exemption. He only signed his contract last Saturday evening after arriving Saturday morning into Cleveland. He was in the building on Sunday, and they would like to get him on the field. Now, I would like to as well maybe get him into the league office on a Tuesday. How about a Monday rather than a Wednesday? But they're not going to do you any favors. He's there on a Wednesday. He'll be back Wednesday evening, one would think, and then back on the field Thursday. My gut tells me, and this is my gut only, that with only 2 days of practice, and really Thursday is the Browns' high-energy practice, if you will, their most focused practice of the week. I don't know that he's going to play this week. I don't have any inside information there, but that's what my gut tells me. To your point, Frank, Dylan Sampson looked great. First guy never brought him to the ground. He's not a big dude. I mean, he's 5'10", maybe. He's 200 pounds, but he's pretty sturdy. His contact balance was absurd, and he had 8 receptions. The NFL leader right now for receptions after only 1 week has 10. Dylan Sampson has 8. So if you're in a PPR league, he had 93 yards from scrimmage a week ago. He right now is the guy. But Cynthia, you're right. It is definitely going to be a backfield by committee, and you're probably right, though, picking up Quinshon and stashing him on your fantasy bench.